You don't think it was... Doesn't matter. It was time to drop her anyway. Only the strong survive.
Hey guys, we soon gonna talk about Jazmyn Nyx and her exit from WWE and why she decided not to renew her contract. Tune in more to the locker room at Tossery Scandal, aka KDH.
I'm tired of being humble. I'm tired of letting people think they got a chance. The tribal chief is head and shoulders above everybody.
Hey guys, we're back at the locker room, Tossery Scandal. Turnbuckle King here. We'll talk about Jazmyn Nyx leaves WWE after rejected contract. This is the end of Jazmyn Nyx in WWE. Of course, as usual, we about to air some dirty laundry. Jazmyn Nyx has decided not to renew her contract with WWE. It was supposedly for 3 years. She said that the dollar amount was not high enough, not to her liking. And she went and decided not to renew. And at the latest episode of WWE NXT, she is a part of the stable called the Fatal Influence with JC Jane and also Fallon Henley. She was attacked backstage while Javon Evans was conducting an interview, and JC and Fallon found her on the ground. And Fallon was like, "What happened?" And JC said, "You know what? Whatever, forget about her. She was dead weight anyway," because there was a lot of tension going on storyline-wise with the Fatal Influence. So this will be more likely Jazmyn Nyx's last final appearance in WWE. This is a good way to write her off because she will not be back on TV anymore since she decided not to renew her contract. Now, Jazmyn Nyx did talk on her, I believe, her TikTok account to clear up what happened, and we're going to see what Jazmyn Nyx had to say about that.
You know, there's been things circulating, and I kind of want to just set the record straight that I am not resigning with WWE. This was a personal decision I had to make for myself and for my future. Personally, the contract that they were offering me for the next 3 years just wasn't going to cut it for me financially, and that's okay. I kind of just wanted to give a backstory of everything. I was playing professional soccer in Iceland, and then I got recruited obviously to WWE, which I left everything out there to come here for this opportunity, which I'm very, very grateful for. I was kind of held back a little in the beginning. I had 4 knee surgeries, so I had to recover and rebuild my knees in order to step in the ring. And as some of you know, I broke my nose. That's why I was wearing the mask. I had other injuries, concussions, that kind of held me out of TV for a little bit. We'll say that there has been a lot of opportunities that I've had to turn down and pass up, but now that I am out of the job, I can kind of explore these opportunities more and take them more seriously. Love my Jazmyn Nyx fans. Thank you guys so much for supporting me and having my back for the past 3 years. It's been an amazing journey, and I will miss you guys. And yeah, that is it for Jazmyn Nyx. So thank you guys for watching, and I love you guys so much.
Now, that was Jazmyn Nyx talking on her TikTok account. She cleared up how she is not going to be with WWE anymore. She thanked her fans and enjoyed her time at WWE. In the locker room, she was there for 3 years. I remember she debuted. She was first by herself, and then they eventually put her with JC Jane and Fallon Henley of the Fatal Influence. Now, honestly, Jazmyn Nyx, besides her good looks and her figure, she really didn't bring nothing to the table as far as her in-ring skill or promos. She pretty much was the weakest link in Fatal Influence. She couldn't wrestle, couldn't do anything. Now, for the fans that do follow Jazmyn Nyx, saying, oh, she was good, she didn't get opportunity, name me the best Jazmyn Nyx singles one-on-one match ever. What's her best match she ever done? Tell me right now. Leave in the chat, put a comments. I guarantee you won't find any greatest Jazmyn Nyx matches or whatever she's done in her career, because there is none. Now, you know, she did start her career, like she said, she was a soccer player that played in Iceland, and she had 4 knee surgeries. But think about Jazmyn Nyx, that might be why she didn't get the money she thought she deserved, because let's face it, she was not a big name. She didn't start as a wrestler. She didn't come from independent scene. She was a part of the brand new NIL program at the time. And I know Cora Jade, she spoke about this, now knows Elena Black. She spoke about how NIL athletes come in, they don't have the love and passion for the business. They don't appreciate anything. She spoke that interview with Denise Salcedo, which we'll get to in a second. But think about Jazmyn Nyx. I don't know what kind of money you were looking for, but I do remember Cora in talking about this with Denise Salcedo. Let's see what Cora had to say.
You were dealing with. How is it getting used to this new locker room with new faces or added faces? How was that?
Obviously, it's very different. I can't say enough good things about the NXT women's locker room. Like, I loved all those girls. I was friends with most of them. Like, it's such a great locker room, and everyone is really, like, very close, and, like, it is like a sisterhood. But it was very different, especially coming in, as it kind of felt like me and Roxanne's class were kind of like the last indie wrestlers that were really brought in, at least for a long time, before they started just bringing in strictly college athletes. And I think they do it for a reason, and it does work to a degree. I did have my opinions on some things, just because, like, stuff that would bother me was an example, like, people would come in and they didn't come from wrestling and they didn't know anything about wrestling, and that's fine. No one's going to say no to an opportunity to come into WWE, obviously, and no one's shitting on them for that. What would bother me is when these people come in and they just think that they should be handed everything because they came from a great college sport, and it's like, no, that's not how it works. You've never even built a wrestling ring before. Like, you need to work from the ground up. So that would be frustrating when people come in and just think that they deserve things because they came from somewhere else. And it's like, they can't even tell you. Just an example, just throwing an example out there. One day John Cena came for a presentation. He would do that sometimes. He would just come talk to people. And I specifically remember someone raising their hand to ask him how his time in NXT was. And it's a little thing, but it was just so many things like that. It just became so frustrating, where, like, it felt like the culture of wrestling was being lost. And that's what I got brought up in, and that's what I watched. And, like, I remember when I was, like, wanting to be a wrestler at 8 years old, I was, like, studying as much as I could because I was scared someday someone's going to ask me a question about WrestleMania 3 and I don't know the answer, and then I'm going to get fired. Like, I took it so seriously, so then when people were coming in and they couldn't even tell you who the champion on Raw at that time is because they don't even take the time to watch or understand, or because they have no passion for it, that is when it became very, very frustrating. And I feel like it got so overwhelmingly annoying to me that I let it get to me so bad that it got to a point where I was just like, I can't even think about this stuff anymore.
Now, Elena Black, Cora J, she has some good points there. And when she was talking about the NIL athletes thinking they don't appreciate anything, I kind of see that's where Jazmyn Nyx falls in that category, because you was not a big name. You didn't have no major storylines, no championships, no feuds, no anything, no memorable moments. Now that Jazmyn Nyx out of NXT, I mean, she's going to pretty much be forgotten. And there's no offense to her. I'm just being honest. They're not going to remember any of her memories. They're going to say, oh, I miss Jazmyn Nyx in NXT. If it is, it's because of her looks and her figure. I mean, she looked more like a model than she did a wrestler. Let's be honest here. So for her to request a lot of money, I don't know what money she requested, but she should have been happy that she was in WWE to begin with, because she definitely had no wrestling skills. She was trash. Promo skills, I'm not going to get on because she didn't have any. And it could be questioned, maybe she didn't get the opportunity enough, but she was in a stable, one of the most popular stables in NXT, which is Fatal Influence. So I didn't really see any more room for her to go. She should just re-sign the contract. Now, question is, now that she's not with WWE, we know she's not going to be around there. She didn't renew her contract. What is next for Jazmyn Nyx? What is she going to do next for her career? Is she going to wrestle in the independent scene? Is she going to wrestle anywhere else? I mean, now, they say when she rejected WWE's offer, I guess she thought she was going to get more money. WWE's going to try to meet her halfway or try to do whatever they can to keep her. No, that didn't happen. And I think, if anything, she probably insulted WWE by rejecting their offer, because you're in NXT, you're not on Raw, you're not on SmackDown, you're not nowhere. Now, there are some options, like I said before, maybe of where she possibly could go. She possibly could go to All Elite Wrestling, AEW. She's never been there. WWE got the TNA on lock since she rejected the offer. They're not going to bring over there. AEW could be an option. What fans been saying online, which I believe could be an option for as well, which we're going to get into. Let's be honest, OnlyFans is your only other option besides that. Those are only two things I see her doing, is either OnlyFans or being in AEW. Now, I know they all say, she ain't gonna do OnlyFans. You know, they always say not gonna do that, but they say that for now. We gonna see what's gonna happen next. But other than that, that's all for Jazmyn Nyx leaves WWE after rejected contract. You guys let me know, what are your most fondest memory of Jazmyn Nyx in NXT? Or is there any that you could think of? Click the link below to the next video. And as usual, you already know what it is at this point. It's OUT.